Neon Seoul Outrun?
Alrighty, folks, if I may have your attention.
Thank you.
We are about to start the show of Behind the Screens with SadGamerDad. But before that, I do have to give a quick disclaimer. This show is made by the community for the community, and as such, any of its opinions expressed in tonight's show are not affiliated with Altspace in any way. I do not believe this is a mature audience-only event, though I could be wrong. We ask that you please stay muted the entire time unless you have a question you would like to ask. As such, please welcome your host, SadGamerDad.
Alright, well, people, come on, it's here, excuse me, Maggie. My dance must play. Alright. Alright, so, thank you, everybody. I'm going to get in everyone's ear right now. Can you guys hear me? I'm in your ear. I'm like a cold. I'm like the virus. I'm the influenza. It's going around. The flu's got nothing on us tonight. All right, so let's talk about what this show is all about. This is Behind the Screens 2018. We've got some cool guests. I'll get to those here in a second. But first of all, I want to thank you guys, all you kiddos, for showing up. You guys, give yourself some applause. Come on, see those emojis.
I don't see my hand.
So in case you're wondering, let's give us some emojis. You know what I'd like to do? We got a brand new year, guys, so we got to set things up. We've got to set the tone for the entire year. So we're going to do things a little bit different. We're going to create a culture here Behind the Screens. First of all, let's give it up for Jacob, who designed this cool sci-fi glowing neon, all green and black set. Thank you, Jacob. Woo,
Thank you very much, Jacob.
Yeah. All right. All right, the second thing I want to talk about is my name. So everyone asks me, why am I SadGamerDad? You know, it's a stupid reason, but it's one of those sentimental reasons. It's because when your kids grow up and you bonded as a dad playing games with the kids, and then they leave the nest, right? An empty name or guest dad sounded pretty stupid. So I was looking for something edgy, and I thought, you know, SadGamerDad rhymes. And I've been told it's easy to remember, so hey, that's why I did it. The other part is, I like to be the opposite of sad sometimes. I get sad, but games make me happy. VR makes me happy. I grew up playing Pong, guys. Look at where we are now. I'm virtually got 2 game developers at each side of me. And you guys are located on the other side of the planet, you know, practically for me, you know, over in Europe. So that is freaking awesome. These guys are in Berlin, Germany, and we're going to hear all about their amazing game, which I want you all to go out and share on social media. Go follow these guys. I'll give you their Twitter, or I'll get them to give you their Twitter, their Facebook. You can also follow me on Twitter at SadGamerDad. So let's give it up for Jacob. Let's give it up for Altspace for opening up this cool set for users to come visit. I mean, awesome, this is a user-driven community here at Altspace, and my purpose, my mission for you guys is to get everyone interested in coming and learning what Altspace is, breaking down those barriers that exist between people who don't know what social VR is about, people who don't know what VR gaming is about. So enough blah, 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 blah. Let's get to the cool stuff. Let's get to my co-host, my buddy, my bro from another Mo. He's over here on the platform to the right of me. Let's hear it all for Just John. Woo!
Hey.
Woo! Hey. Mad props for Just John. So if you guys don't know the history of Just John was our... John, tell me what you were. You were the second place finisher on the Altspace talk show contest? Sort of thing?
One of the finalists, not...
One of the finalists?
Second place or not.
He's the man.
They didn't give the numbers.
He is the man. But most importantly, he's the guy that keeps me as an old SadGamerDad on my toes. He kicks my butt in games all the time. And I'm happy to say, I'm happy being a SadGamerDad in the sense that I suck at games a lot of times, but I try. Because it's about the experience for me. It's not about the, I'm better than everyone else on the internet. Look how awesome I am. I got the high score. Which, man, I'd love to have the high score on Neon Seoul. But we'll get to that later. That was an amazing achievement. But that's what I like about John. So John, let's start a new segment that I want to get to this season called "What's John Playing?" So let's find out from our buddy Just John what he's been playing this week in VR, because he plays lots of games and puts lots of hours in. So what have you been playing this week, John? You been doing Orbis, or what are you doing?
All right, there we go. Recently, I've been digging back into Echo Arena recently, but
Okay,
I haven't had a chance to dig in with you yet.
Yes, I'm level 2, guys. I got in there to record a video for the Hive. You guys remember that? Just come out to the Hive, and I was level 2, and I get in there, and John's like, 50 or something, and I'm just like, oh my god, the time all these things. Like, every time I go into, he's like way up there near the top, and I'm just like, I'm starting. So you've been playing more Echo?
I believe that you're catching up and may have surpassed me already on Orbis. I haven't done into that in a while.
I'm level 8 in Orbis, and that's a max 20 over there. So, yeah. Okay, so you've been doing Echo Arena. Anyone in here play Echo Arena? It's free, guys, but the catch is you've got to have Oculus, or does it work with Revive? Anyone know if it works with Revive?
It works, from what I recall, it works pretty well with Revive.
It does? All right, cool. So there you go. Go out and get your Echo Arena while it's still free. I mean, maybe they'll charge for it at some point. I don't know. Who knows? And it's super fun. You've got, 5-on-5, and now you can spectate a match. I got in and watched a match of all 50s one night, and they kept going, why is the SadGamerDad stalking us? And I'm just like, I'm trying to learn, guys.
Am I in?
I want to learn your ways. I'm so bad. But that's awesome. All right, well, John, we'll keep this segment going through the rest of the year, and I'll continue on. You'll see me interacting with John in unique ways each week. But let's get back to you guys. What do you guys think of the seating up there? You got a lot of space to move around in? Everyone comfortable? Ever see everyone's wiggling around, moving around? So that's an awesome amount of space. So my kiddos, you guys are my kiddos, and you guys, I'm going to affectionately name your space the Playpen. What do you think? Playpen? Yeah, we all play, we're all hanging out in there. So we're going to be up in the Playpen all this season, 2018. So you guys, if you want to see guests, you've got to let me know. You can email me, sadgamerdad@gmail.com. Let me know what UK guest, what US guests you want to see on the show. The way the show is going to work, I'm going to be on 2 Sundays a month, the second Sunday and the fourth Sunday. The second Sunday will be a UK guest. The fourth Sunday will be a US guest. So we'll start in the afternoon in the States, which will be the evening over in Europe. And on the second Sunday and the fourth Sunday, we'll start in the evening following the VR church at 8 o'clock Central. So that's going to be our show times coming up. So with all that said, now that I'm out of breath, I need to let someone else talk. Oh my God, because I don't want to like kill over here, guys. I'm an old guy, but I'm in decent ass shape. So let's get over to our guest. I'm so freaking pleased to have these guys on here. When I played this game, I didn't know what to expect. I came in cold. I saw it was Outrun, and how many of you old guys like me remember Outrun? The old title from Sega, right? In the arcades, you go up there and you go all play, and you played on your Sega, and it was freaking awesome. So this is the developer of Neon Seoul Outrun, which you can find on Oculus and on Steam. And I'm so pleased to introduce our guest, and let me make sure I get this right, the director of the studio, creative director, PJ.
Yeah, just studio director. So I kind of look at
studio director.
And, yeah.
PJ, and how do you pronounce your last name? Because I don't want to screw it up.
Esteves.
PJ Esteves, the director of the studio, and community manager Tim Loftis. All right, so yeah, let's give it up. Let's see some emojis for these guys. Woo! Woohoo! All the way from Berlin, West Germany. Guys, thank you so much for spending the evening with us Alt-Space people here, with all the kiddos here.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the history. And Tim or PJ, I want to hear the history of the studio. I'm dying to know what's your history, how you got in Berlin, that sort of thing. Can anyone you speak to that?
Yeah. So basically, the core of us are ex-Crytek guys, actually. So we started with obviously other people, the whole VR kind of part of Crytek back in the day. And yeah, my first game in VR as a creative director was The Climb. So
what? The Climb?
Very
oh
good
my
kind
gosh.
of yeah. So we like we did
Let me
the
go
climb
fanboy
and
over here for a
Robinson the
second. Excuse
Journey.
me.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean, it was you know, it's time to kind of move on and start our own thing up. So we said, okay, you know, I come from a typical game development background. You know, some time at Sony Online, a little bit of time at Microsoft, and I ended up at Crytek. Long story short, and after working on some console titles, like, okay, let's try something different.
Sure.
And we're asked to put together a game, so we started working on like Robinson the Journey, and actually from that's where the climb came out of, because we were doing a lot of R&D into mechanics on how to move around the world. And this, you know, you mentioned, you know, Echo Arena, and I definitely think, you know, you see kind of a second generation of game on like a lot of the stuff that we prototyped. You said, wow, they really did something amazing with that kind of, you know, really simple climbing mechanic. And, you know, when we decided to do our own thing, we said, hey, you know what, how could we innovate on something small? Because, you know, obviously being a small startup in Berlin, we don't have as many people as we did at Crytek. But we said we still want to show something that had, you know, a real quality to, you know, how we approach VR. And yeah, we're super happy about it. I mean, we got a comfortable rating for a, you know, VR, you know, kind of fast paced racing game, which anyone who knows VR, you know, that comfortable rating really kind of, it's kind of a badge of honor to have that. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we got started. And we built together a team of like, you know, guys we like hanging out with as much as we like making games with. So yeah, this is how we kind of got started. And I think officially we've been together, like, let's say the whole team since about January. But yeah, we're also working on another kind of, let's say, more high-end title called Shaman Spirit Hunter. So that one was announced a little while ago. But this is, you know, the Neon Seoul Outrun is really just about, you know, taking a single mechanic and trying to find something like really interesting with it and having it be polished and just enjoyable. So this is like, that was just the first release. Obviously, we're still in early access. So we have a couple more cool releases coming in the next weeks. So Tim, if you had anything to say or...
Yeah, actually the next thing, if you guys are curious, the next thing coming up is a story mode. So it's going to be story missions where you're going to find out more about the world of Neon Seoul and more about the character I play in the game, Coach Kincaid.
Yes, let's give it up for Coach Kincaid. Yeah, Tim is Coach Kincaid. He is in the game. How awesome is that?
That is so much fun. It is really a lot of fun.
Coach Kincaid is a blast. Yeah, I mean, Tim could probably tell you how we came up with Coach Kincaid.
Let's save that because that's awesome. He's told me the story about Coach Kincaid, and that takes me back to my formative years. If you look at my Twitter and my social media, I'm an 80s child, still inside a middle-aged man. I put something like that on my social media. But let's talk about the influence for Outrun. Was it influenced from the old Sega game, the Neon Seoul? Was that whole world? Who came up with the idea?
Yeah, I mean, let's definitely. Do this. So I mean, the kind of, let's say where like the idea really first began was, we said, you know, we love this aesthetic, right? It's called the this Outrun aesthetic, and
I love the neon. In case you can't.
Yeah, exactly, and I think there were a lot of kind of titles coming out that like had a really interesting take on it, and we're like, yeah, you know, this is really something that, you know, also being a child of the '80s, you look back and you said, man, like, how cool was that, right? Like, seriously, I mean, like with Knight Rider and talking cars, and you know, it was just this crazy, this crazy kind of time period. But we said, you know, we want to build a universe. We don't want to just build one game in this kind of universe. So the first decision was like, well, what do we want to do first? And we said, definitely this kind of like, you know, racer like aesthetic.
Arcade in the world.
Arcadey, right? You remember like, you know, Outrun and looking at the graphics back then, you had to put all the imagination into like, you know, how cool it was. So yeah, definitely an inspiration from Outrun, as well as other, you know, titles that came out after that, like Wipeout, right, is another
any Wipeout fans? That's a later one.
F-Zero on the Super Nintendo, remember that?
Oh,
yep.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah. And the sense of speed in the game. I wish you guys like had a little demo just of like for a timed demo so people can get an idea of how fast you move in the game. And maybe Tim can talk about that because I'm interested to know. He gave me some tips, and we're going to watch a video here in a little bit of some alternate play styles and just how to play the game. I recorded this last night because I'm looking for ways to cheat, right? As a guy of a certain age who's lost some of his reaction times, I need all the help I can get to kind of lean fast and predict the turns. So I experimented a little bit last night, and you'll see that in the video, with some play styles that Tim talked about. But the sense of speed.
Please, no.
I got a Nintendo. Can you guys talk about how that works? The sense of speed? Yeah, we got to harken back to the Nintendo days. Speak of that, it's still in our heads.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how that came about and how that works?
Well, I'm going to hand that one over to PJ. He's the one that really was the visionary behind it.
Yeah, the controls being just the headset. That's Do you have to have? I've been playing. You'll see in my video without any controls. I'm just using my whole body. Was that the intention of the design? So you could really lean into it because it works you out. It works out your entire upper body. I was sore last night after playing for about an hour.
So actually, like there's a couple things. Is we are actually inspired by a YouTube video of this guy called Ghost Rider, and he was this guy that crazy dude, and he drove through Sweden at like basically like 165 miles an hour, something crazy on his motor. So
don't do that, kids.
Don't do it. That's why we have VR.
Don't do that, kiddos. In VR, you can do it. It's okay. In Outrun, you can do it.
And so basically, he recorded some videos, and he had like a GoPro camera or something like that. And we're like, that is crazy. Like, and a lot of our thinking also, that led to the climb was like, well, I don't know if I'm ever going to climb a mountain this tall, but why not experience it in VR? That could be something interesting. And, even though I like riding bikes, I don't think I'll ever go 1,000 kilometers an hour right in my lifetime. It's too crazy. So we said, that's the heart of what we should try to do. And we matched it with this really cool aesthetic. And that was kind of, the early kind of point. And to be honest, a huge part of the design challenge is how to read a world going at 1,000 kilometers an hour. So, I mean, we're still working on that, actually, if we're being honest, right? Like, it's crazy.
And it doesn't...
The game is,
it's so smooth.
Still in early access. Yeah, it's still in early access. We kind of went with this more or less very clean look to it. So as you're driving through, you'll be able to see the road signs. Yeah, and you'll be able to actually
coming at you, but you can see everything. That's what's cool. Yeah, you see everything around you. You feel really immersed in the environment, even though you're going up to 1,000 kilometers an hour. It's now. I found myself just kind of looking around, like, man, this is really cool. It's like when you have that moment in time that's frozen, but you can still look around you.
And as you're driving, you'll even notice that the cars, they'll turn on their blinkers if they're about to merge.
Yes.
So it kind of gives you a bit of a warning.
I do. There's always that one that always cuts me off, and I slam into it, and jerk out of the way, and I jerk my whole body. That's probably going to pull a muscle or something. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Going at Mach like whatever 10, I guess it's a little bit difficult to avoid some of those turns.
Yeah,
it's insane. And if you read the comments on reviews, that's what people say is the sense of speed is really just crazy. It's awesome. It really is.
Yes,
you got to experience it.
In Germany, we have the Autobahn, right? So it's really typical to drive fast if you want to.
There we go. Yeah, John, the Autobahn. You got to go fast over there, right?
Yeah.
Get ran over.
So what we said is like, all right, well, if it feels like driving on the Autobahn, then we're pretty close to the feeling that we want. And yeah, we think we landed pretty close. We still have some things we want to improve over the next weeks and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, as Tim said, going into early access, a huge part of it was like, can we develop a game in a different way than, kind of, let's say we worked on it for 6 months and then released it or something like that. We said, hey, let's get the core mechanic feeling really good, really sticky. We're happy to play test it, in the office. Let's put it out there and see how other people feel about it. And we think like, hey, this is a great first step. And we want to, kind of with the help of the community, I guess, push it even further, so
push it out there for more folks to play it.
That is.
So do either of you ride a bike? Do you guys ride a bike to the office? Does it give you practice for getting in and out of the Berlin traffic?
Well, I ride a bicycle, but not a motorcycle yet. But just to go back to what
go ahead,
PJ
Jim.
was saying, with the community aspect, we are totally open to hear all of your guys' feedback. We want to hear what you want to see in the game. Different play modes, maybe different vehicle types, upgrades, anything you guys want to see. Come on over to our Facebook page and give us a shout out. We're really receptive to that.
Yeah, we are looking at it. I
Awesome.
mean, I think we had somebody that said to us is like they want heavy metal mode, right? They don't.
Yes.
It's like let's
Choose your
do
different
kind
modes.
of let's do Eddie from Iron Maiden, or something like that, or the mountains of
burning mode.
Valhalla or something. I mean, we've got a super senior team and we're receptive.
Go.
Yeah, exactly. Run to the hills.
Exactly. Right?
Run for your life.
You guys get me. That's awesome.
Right on.
So let's talk about the community aspect. So you guys Tim just recently posted a video. Tim's posting regular videos as Coach Kincaid, updating the community of Neon Seoul Outrun as to things that are going on, high scores that are happening. And someone just did something really special, and you did something really special in the game. So you want to talk about what that was, Tim?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have a player. His name is John Lockie. You'll see him every time. If you're playing on Oculus, you'll see him on the Oculus leaderboards. If you're on Steam, you won't see him because it's pointing to different leaderboards. But I digress. If you go to our Facebook page, you'll see every Friday we're posting leaderboard updates, which is global leaderboards. So John Lockie is this insane rider. He is the first and only so far outrunner or person who plays Neon Seoul Outrun to hit over 1 million points.
1 million.
And
It's
1 million
insane, guys.
points.
Yeah.
You're going to see him a video here in a minute. I'm going to show the how to play basics. And I spent an hour last night playing straight, and the best I could do was 59,000. No, if I
thought
was
he was
20 years
cheating.
younger, I could
We
probably
thought he
double
was
that,
cheating.
But
I talked to my wife. She's like, he must be a dancer that he can just move so quickly like that. And I don't know what the guy does for a living, but I can tell you for sure that he is he's phenomenal at this game. And so we noticed that ourselves, and we thought, hey, you know what? Let's acknowledge that, and let's make that a challenge for everybody else. So now, if you play the game on Oculus or Steam or even Viveport, we're now on Viveport as well. If you play it on there, and if you get 1 million points, the new achievement is the John Lockie Award for 1 million points. How awesome is that, guys?
how cool is that? He had an achievement out of me. I was hoping John Lockie, by some miracle of VR, would show up in the audience and he'd come up here and be like, we'd bow to them. John Lockie, you rule, man.
Yes. And
That's
John, if
awesome.
you're out there, just wave to us.
Yes. John, you flipping rock, kiddo. That's awesome.
Salute to John.
All right, so let's talk about the your updates. How soon can we expect some updates, and what do you guys got cooking for Neon Seoul?
Well, the next thing's coming up right now. Based off of the user feedback, we want to get people a little bit more onboarded easily into the game. That means, give them a little bit of instructions on how to steer the bike. Some objective-based stuff. Just make getting into the game easier. For example, if you see the first video that you created, SadGamerDad, getting in felt like a little bit like you're being thrown in there without any instruction. And well, after talking to our fans, we realized, they would appreciate a little bit more help getting started. So that's the first thing. We want to make sure people are enjoying themselves.
Okay. All right. Well,
Then
that's a good segue to the video. Go ahead. You got a little more. Go. Tell us.
Yeah.
You
And
got
then
more.
after that, of course, we have more play modes. We're going to have the story mode, and there's a video that we dropped on New Year's, which even mentions multiplayer. Which we're not going to get into a whole bunch on how that's going to work, but I wanted to let you guys know, yes, you can expect in the future a form of multiplayer to appear in Neon Seoul Outrun. How awesome is that?
I can try to take on John Lockie. No way. No way. Never. That's crazy. It's crazy talk.
Let's take a look at that
Chicken
video
mode.
of yours.
All right, so let's watch this video. This is a short 2-minute video I did last night of how to play, the basics of what you can expect when you dive in. So let's go to look at it. And you may end up, anyone has problems, just reload the room. You may have to do that to get your video player that is unique to each and every one of you. So let me get it loaded up here.
Quick question, Tim. Will the game be available for Gear VR?
For Gear VR,
Yeah,
well,
so outrun, and we'll see how high of a score I can get. So I'm going to instruct you guys.
Okay,
it's playing. What we do is we come in the lobby. Here's Coach Kincaid with the high scores. And the first thing you're going to do is jump on your bike. As you can see, here's the bike. There'll be a bike shop coming soon, guys, so stay tuned. Let's dive in and check this out. Start the game. Most important thing you can do is calibrate your seat position so you're not too far or too short off the ground so you can see down in front of you. I've got mine calibrated just about right. As you can see, you get to see yourself as a head moving around. You don't need touch controls really for this. I really like this, by the way. The head, the body. Some handles here.
Awesome. Yeah, that was one improvement we made so people could see their presence and really get a sense of how big they were in the world.
Lean forward immediately. Avoid stuff, make smooth turns. I like to push off with my legs. Just like I'm getting a sense of speed just off the flat screen. Lean back, and if your head gets me backwards, it slows the bike down. So then you can avoid the cars. By the way. So that's my best advice. Avoid the cars. You've got shields that will deplete. This will give you some killer quads, guys, if you steer with legs. Like I'm doing that too. Avoid the drone. The police drone will try to get you within 5 seconds of getting within your proximity. Oh, see, that took my shield down. I've got to recharge. So try to hit the recharge points. Try to burst through traffic when you can. Look forward. It's so fast. We get a lot of traffic.
Man, I love the soundtrack. Even today, like, after hearing it,
try to lean forward when the cops get near you, so just a lot of speed. Boom! Leave his ass in the dust! Woo! Oh, there's a car. Come over that hill. We gotta recharge this shield. We're done. We're gonna recharge desperately.
I think you've seen Imagine, the psychosomatic effect.
Not real time, I guess.
Oh my god, you got the
Alright, so 21,092. You see my high score,
the first time you do it, it's quite
the high score is $1 million. John Lockie. I said $1 million. That's about an achievement. You guys won't be giving out any money.
Hey, great video.
Okay,
good job, man.
Yeah,
that was how to play. So Tim, do you have any tips for me? Because I noticed it kept saying that my bike was like going to explode. Am I boosting too often on that?
So it's kind of a risk versus reward aspect that's going on there. The first thing you got to realize is, yes, of course, the faster you go, the more your bike's going to go. But the harder you slam into something, the more damage it's going to do. So and also it's based off of your reactions. If you can brake fast enough, if you have that reaction speed to get out of your lean and lean back in your chair like that, you'll be able to stop. So you have to kind of judge your own reactions as you're playing, and you'll notice that you're actually improving upon your reactions the more you play the game. So it's a bit of mental training, a bit of physical training, and of course game training.
Legally, you guys might want to have a disclaimer in there for neck doctors. You might want to have a number on the call or something.
Yeah, for real.
We are not associated with the American Neck Doctor Association. We are not creating business for them. But what I like to do, actually, I like to stand, to be honest with you. I'll stand up and I'll use kind of my thighs and my knees to kind of pivot around as I'm playing. And that gives me a much greater sense of control on the bike rather than sitting, although the game was meant to be played sitting.
Okay, now I took some of Tim's advice and I tried these alternate play styles. I like to sit in my lazy chair most of the time, but I took some of this standing play styles, and I did a couple of videos on 2 play styles, squatting while standing, and what really blew my mind was Tim suggested surfing. So let's watch this. I can tell you this was a workout. You think the seated is a workout. Standing is a whole nother level of workout. So let me get this loaded up for you guys.
See, that's how I play the climb as well. Crouch back, lean right back over
the squat,
the spine. So fun.
The squat. Oh, I should have lowered my bike. It's hard.
Those roller coaster straps are much better standing as well.
You're like a boxer. You're dodging and weaving there.
I'm boxing and dodging. Funny thing is, my previous video was a VR boxing game. It's just unstable.
Yeah, so that happened because you hit something, but you can recharge your shield there, and then you'll be back up.
That'd be good. Close shave. Close shave. I love that. I want those in my text tones. You need to hook me up.
I got you covered.
I'll record them.
when the chassis pieces come together, is that when you're slowing down?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, no, sorry. That means you're going faster. When you slow down, it
one thing I
opens up
noticed is
and, creates more drag.
the farther you get along, the more nervous and the more your breathing picks up. And there's a comment, it's like, just breathe.
Yes.
Just breathe.
Oh, I hit that car. Protein bar break. Now let's try it.
Very nice.
Protein bar break. You were on the show last week. You know what that means, guys. Kiddos. This is insane.
This is pretty crazy.
Nice.
Nice.
You know what? We need to make a, surfer soundtrack, like.
Outrun.
Now I'm assuming this is the preferred method for
They got one
people
of the
with
vehicles. That'll be
balances.
awesome.
Exactly. Actually, I could see.
I guess so,
That
yeah.
was a
Just
good
with
one.
diagonal.
I could see them using this for people with balance issues.
Do better like that, don't
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Typically any YD thing.
Ice cold.
Oh, God.
Was ice cold for about 10 seconds.
they? Hey, SadGamer, your next challenge is to play this in a
This
handstand.
is the recharge. Okay, the surf is hard. Take me in, guys. I give up. Drones, you can have me.
Yeah, police drone. I gave up. I'm just like, forget the speed. Just take me to the station, drones.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun.
Video, man. Nice cuts and.
Well, thank you guys. Let's go to some audience Q&A.
Sure.
Anyone got questions for PJ or Tim about Neon Seoul or future developments? Anyone here in the main room?
I hear someone with a question. Sir,
Right
how
here.
can we answer your question?
Yep.
Like, will there be like different types of vehicles that you can use?
There will be. Good question.
Yes,
there
yeah.
will be different types of vehicles in the future.
Oh,
PJ,
nice.
you have something
You
to
can
say?
make a surfboard one.
Well, I think now we have to make a surfboard one.
Oh man.
Surfboard mode.
Actually, is there a famous river in Berlin?
Well, I mean, there's the Spree. I wouldn't say it's like something you'd want to surf on, but we had kicked around the idea and joked about. Do you remember Escape?
The surfing minigame.
Snake Plissken, right? So
Yeah.
like this Escape from LA.
Think Pliskin?
Like
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
That'd be good one.
But the thing is that like in the climb we had videos of guys falling over because they're reaching out for the rock, and we had John Lockie falling backwards in his chair, and we might as well complete the trifecta and have you surf.
There we go.
Tip
Crashing
over,
through the
but-
wall.
Surfing through a window.
Yeah, so I mean,
everybody-
you guys
everybody-
saw that there's a bike garage, right? So the idea is that we're gonna, in the future, have it so you can tune your bike a little bit and see kind of, if people can get faster runs by, going crazy acceleration, crazy top speed, and barely any shield or something like
Very
that.
nice.
Awesome.
And that will be the kind of first step. And then after that, we'll look at it and go, okay, should we create more classes of bikes and this kind of stuff? So there's definitely plans for that on the table. And in fact, the system we have right now is very tunable. So we said, hey, this is, we should just turn it over to players and see what kind of crazy configurations they come up with and add those classes. So, a lot
That's
like
all of
any
you
kind
guys
of-
right out there.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Outrun Garage. All right. If you guys can work out a behind the screens themed bike, we kind of got that curve look going on in here. All right. I saw someone over here in the corner. Richard, did you have a question for our guests?
Yeah, quick question. As for multiplayer, will you have cops versus bikers by any chance? Like one team be cops and
Interesting.
one team be bikers?
Cops
Like
and
one team
robbers.
have to ram each other
Pretty
over?
Cool suggestion. Then.
That's a
And-
really
and-
cool suggestion. Yeah.
And these
Do you
are the
actually
kind of
have
things that
bike
we'd like
cops
to
on
hear
the
from you
city over there?
because the players of our game are going to
Yeah,
be
let's get some
leading
emojis for that.
or getting the suggestions out there for us. We're going to be taking those suggestions and working directly with you all to get things just like that in there. So your question was, is there going to be? I cannot answer that completely, but I can say if you and the other Outrunners want it, that's definitely something we will do.
That's going to be
Yeah,
awesome.
it's a super cool idea. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, thank you.
The thing that we
Thank
really
you.
like about that idea is, if you know, we could easily make modes where you're catching bad guys, or you're the bad guy that's being caught and stuff like that. And in fact, the earliest prototypes, you actually had touch controls on it as well. And we did some testing with, you know, like being able to kind of move your hands around, and if you're leaning, controlling the bike, you know, like, you know, having some force ability stuff. So, I mean, whether or not that makes it into the end game, it's really just a lot of kind of figuring out, you know, what is kind of the next step for what people want. But I definitely like that idea. It's like, you know, who doesn't want to be like Judge Dredd or something like that, right? Like,
yes, I am the law. John, do you have a question? That's all. Just John's got a question over here.
In reference to that, I mean, if you guys did end up doing touch controls, it would just remind me so much of that old Road Rash game. Do you remember that by chance?
Electronic Arts, right?
Hours of Road
being
Rash
able to just like whip out a chain, knock over your opponents beside you, or
Still
something like that.
Potentially the best biking game ever made.
Yeah.
Yes.
I genuinely play it on an emulator all the time.
My dad
that's one of my
carpet
favorites
burn
growing
now,
up.
right? You call that carpet burn now in the VR days, right? Oh God.
Especially if you're sitting down, you'll have people whip out, hit the arm of their chair, start cursing, and fall over.
Yeah, we'll probably need a new disclaimer on the App Store. You know, if people are buying that and breaking.
We are not responsible for any amount of rage you experience.
Release a separate multiplayer mode with that.
All right. Anyone else got a question? Hasn't
Sponsored
asked
by Allstate
one.
Insurance.
I have a question.
Get your question addressed. All right. Plum. Am I pronouncing it right? Purple.
Either way is fine. So do you guys have a music producer / composer on contract, or are you looking for community members who can help you with content?
Hey, freebies.
That is a good question. So we do have some licensed music already. We have K2RE is one of them. He's from Noise Symphony. And PJ, do you know?
Yeah. So
anyone
yeah,
else?
we actually, I mean, we're open for anything if it fits the universe, to be honest. So, but we do have a composer that did kind of the main theme, but the actual in-game writing stuff came from an artist that we found on SoundCloud, and we really liked his stuff.
Nice.
And you know, if it's good and if it's in the universe, then you know, absolutely. As Tim mentioned, you know, like if you look on our Facebook page, he's super responsive to kind of like you know, responding to the community. So drop your stuff on there, put a SoundCloud link. I mean, you know, we're a small company, but we're based out of Berlin, so we really believe in like supporting like, you know, indie music and not just,
The music
you know,
really made me feel like I was in a movie. You talked about the movie. I really feel like I was in a movie at some point, and I was escaping the RoboCops, the Robo-drones.
Yes, so
Yeah,
please send us
and-
your stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I will definitely be playing the game and making a few tracks for you guys.
Excellent.
Style down.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. It's here for everyone that's here today, kiddos. All right, let's take one last question, and then we'll let these guys tell us where we can follow their studios and Neon Seoul OutRun specifically on the social media.
I have a question.
Who is that?
I think it was Yazin.
Is that Yazin? Let's hear your question, Yazin. You'll be our final questioner.
Oh, never mind.
Who is that?
Yo,
Was it
dude.
Cruel
Can you hear
Hand?
me?
Is that you up there?
I can hear you.
Was it Cruel Hand? He's
Like
waving.
Delicious
Is he muted?
has a,
Hi.
question over there too.
What's this? Like, where are we?
We're in
discussing
VR.
the Neon Outrun game with a couple of the developers.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Welcome. Do you have a question for us? Have you played Neon Soul?
Sorry, I heard two questions.
I've got one if it's all right.
I had to reload, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear
There we go.
There, I'm in everybody's ears now. There we go. I had to reload the room.
Much better.
So I was thinking, what about a sort of a competitive mode of like a last person standing type thing? You know, maybe four bikes go in, and then whoever wins is the last person to crash or get taken away.
4 bikes enter, 1 bike leaves.
Not
That's
necessarily
really
the
cool,
highest
too.
score, just the longest to last.
Man, that would be fun for an office party.
Yeah,
I
and
would
not
totally
high
do
score, the
that.
one last left standing, but you could edit the map so that they have tight tunnels in them that you can only fit 2 bikes in max. so that every so many miles,
Teaching to prioritize.
people have to fight over position.
Oh,
Or
that's a
back
super
up.
That's
cool
that's
idea, too.
really cool idea. You know, like this has been dynamite. You're gonna see updates coming into the game, and you're gonna go, huh, I remember where that all started, right?
Yes.
But no,
So
in all
community,
honesty, though,
grassroots
yeah,
stuff.
like,
It's awesome.
and we're open, right? Because we believe in prototyping a lot before we put the game out.
Excellent.
So if you know, like, I really like this idea that you could have multiple people on one track, and I think our biggest kind of question when we even talk about this stuff internally is like, okay, what is sort of the heart and soul of this game, and will adding these mechanics mean a different game, or should we spend more time iterating more on the heart and soul? So I could see like 4 people in a track where it is just about speed. Maybe there's some bumping and grinding allowed, but like last man standing, maybe actually you create traffic by hitting a car or something like that, right? So that's really not a lot of development time for us. And I think it also is just cool. Like who doesn't want to race against? But as Tim mentioned, we have to kind of pick one and focus on it, and to really put out the best experience. But I mean, definitely just we gotta get away in Facebook where people just be like, hey, add your cool game mode ideas and send us a quick video of like these things with a little bit more detail on how you feel it should like be in the game. So
Yes.
I'm definitely open to hearing that kind of stuff. This is great.
It all starts with a
Good stuff.
conversation. If you go to facebook.com/neonsoulvr, you can leave us a comment. Please, actually,
Neon Soul
even best to start off the conversation by a comment. That way other people can chime in and they can give their ideas, and we can kind of work things out together as a community. Of course, though, we're always welcome to private messages too, so don't hesitate to send those out if you don't feel like voicing your opinion in the open air.
Maybe you give us a little Coach Kincaid pep talk is where they can send stuff on Facebook or somewhere.
Well, Rook, if you come on down to Neon Soul VR on Facebook, I'm personally going to come and give you a piece of my mind, Rook.
All right. Coach Kincaid, let's hear emojis for Coach Kincaid.
Bravo.
Oh, yeah.
Could I ask something? Yeah, could I ask something?
All right, thank you, Tim.
Sure. No problem.
All right, so social media, where can we follow the progress of Neon Soul? You guys prefer Twitter or over Facebook? Both, all of the above? Facebook, Twitter?
Community. So we got right now we're primarily on Facebook. We are on also Instagram. So we're also posting things out there as well. Our website will get blog updates, but primarily our main goal is to get everyone talking onto Facebook. We might do some quirky things with Twitter in the future, maybe some Coach Kincaid stuff, but we really want to drive it all to one central point. And right now that one central point is Facebook. Oh, of course, the Steam community boards is another place that we're very active as well. So if that's your platform of choice, if you don't really like Facebook, you're totally welcome to start the conversation there.
Awesome. All right.
Start a Discord server.
Cool. That's great. Well, let's wrap things up. Let's talk about the next show behind the screens will be this second Sunday, which will be the 28th?
Yes, it'll be the 28th.
Yes, the 28th. It'll be 8 o'clock Central Time, and we're going to have my buddy, who's known over here as an improver, a musician, and more recently a YouTube game streamer. That's Tryhard Heroes. We're going to do something totally crazy and funny. Because if you know Tryhard and you're familiar with his work, go check him out on YouTube. He's growing really fast. He's about to hit a network that's going to, I think, send him up to like a bazillion people. And it's going to be awesome to watch his rise to fame on the streaming media. So go check out Tryhard Heroes, and who knows what we're going to come up with. This guy, he does crazy stuff that I love. I love being a part of this. I'm just so grateful to be a part of AltSpace, to have each and every one of you guys here, to have awesome guests. So let's keep it up. Let's share on the social medias. Let's go support these guys out on the Facebook and the community. And check out Neon Soul Outrun in Oculus and on Steam. And if you're lucky, maybe you can beat John Lockie's score and they'll rename it the achievement after you.
Yes.
Good luck. You're probably going to break some
so
stuff.
SadGamerDad.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right. Let's hear it. Woo! Yeah.
I'm afraid I can't allow another John to defeat me, so...
And John will defeat me wholeheartedly in everything he plays.
Let's party.
Could I ask just like one final question?
You know,
Yeah, here.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And man, take care.
That is